Okay, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good night. Had a big day in tech today. Well, a big day for Apple anyway. So hopefully you guys enjoy the stream. Got a lot of pretty cool people in here. Everyone actually watched the Apple event regardless of schedule. We have someone who stayed up till 4 a.m. his time to um, watch that event. So I got some dedicated people in here. Just gonna wait a second to get some more people in, and then we're gonna bring up my guests. Okay. Hey, what's up, Hawks? Hope you're doing well today. Mark, I don't know why you're talking to me right now. Okay, speaking of Mark, so he is going to be the first person I bring up. What's up,
That's
Mark? How
right.
you doing?
All right. You know how to get that sound effect. I just wanted to fill up the chat. You know, it looked a
Oh
little
yeah,
thin
no
there.
problem, bro. No problem. So
Make
how's
sure I
your
was on
day
the right
going?
stream too. I don't know if you like scheduled two of them. Like I didn't see a thumbnail on the one over here on my end, so
Oh, okay, I
I
gotcha.
was like,
Yeah, I had
no.
to Yeah, I put some time on it, so it might have just deleted the thumbnail. Hopefully not. But yeah, how's your day going so far?
Good man, excited. Daydreaming, doing a lot of virtual window shopping.
Yeah, I gotcha. Are you interested in any of the products that you saw today?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm a little so part of the disappointment was that yeah, it's kind of like build your own. You know, whether you I wouldn't
Yeah.
already have peripherals to use other than any one of like the 4K TVs. You know, I know it's not the same thing,
Hmm.
but whatever. Um, I was real excited as at an all in one. You know, like a bigger, more powerful 27 30-inch something. You know, iMac, because I've never had. Like a desktop all in one from Apple. At least I've had like the
Yeah.
huge HP and Dell towers from way back when, like Windows 98, Windows XP, all that stuff. I think like Windows 7 or whatever the hell was like the latest time that I touched
Yeah.
Windows. But for me to have something that would be dedicated here, aside from what would be what's more practical, like, yeah, you can dock a laptop and unplug it, take it everywhere. But
Yeah.
I was floating that idea. I'm like, maybe within 1 years something ish, for sure I probably wouldn't get like a Mac Pro or anything like that. I'm like, dude, I just get a car at that point. But uh a
Right.
little bit of a bummer, but I guess it's cool. Like it does make like getting each of the pieces, like I could like I there's nothing wrong with me using one of my 4K, the TVs for the monitor as a peripheral if I were to eventually
Yeah.
grab, one of those the new studios that we saw today, and then maybe down the line. Or again, one of the benefits to like having to save and wait and save up is that you might get the next gen or a discount or something way
Yeah.
further down the line. But that's kind of what it is for me. Really cool stuff. I'm happy for Apple. I'm excited to see what our fellow creators, everyone else in the tech space, what they can do with it, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So the next guest I'm going to bring up, I've known him for a little while now. Someone actually watched on TikTok a ton before I even met him. He created a Twitter fairly recently, like a few months ago, and we ended up connecting on Twitter, and he ended up coming on a few streams. So really appreciate having Miles Above Tech again.
Oh yeah, you're muted.
You're muted.
Can't hear you, bro.
Guys, technical difficulties.
Oh no,
Sometimes we
you're good.
have those. Not every tech creator knows everything. Uh, I'm doing good, y'all. I'm glad to be back on here. Home for the break.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fine.
that's awesome.
That's fine. But everything's going great. I'm glad to be here, and I can't wait to talk about some of the Apple things happening today because there's some thoughts I have. Some good, bad, good and
Yeah,
bad.
I think we all
Honestly,
do. It's a very
yeah.
like
We
up
all
and
have a little.
down. Yeah,
We have a little thing.
Yeah, it was a very up and down event. Were you able to catch the whole thing, or did you catch a replay, or did you watch it
I
live? Or
watched it live with Ramal as we were wondering why Discord was spazzing out. Later to find out it was Google servers messing everything up
oh
today.
yeah, Discord was down for like
uh,
majority of the day. Yeah.
Somehow we were on Discord the entire time, like multiple of us on live chat. I don't know how it
Hmm.
worked because half it just wasn't working, but that was working out of all things. Uh, but yeah, no, it's been good.
I gotcha. What's up, man? How you doing tonight? Okay, the last guest. This guy stayed up till 4 a.m. his time to watch the Apple event. That is what you call dedication. We're gonna bring up Ramal Media.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for the entrance. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I wouldn't call it dedication as much as me having no choice because time zones are a bit of a pain in the butt. So yeah, we always get the short end of the stick in Australia when it comes to events. So I think it's just par for the course for me. But thanks for having me on again, Galen. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, I appreciate you for joining as well. I think I got a pretty good crew in here. Everyone's like super knowledgeable about Apple products. I'm by far the least knowledgeable in this group, so I definitely had to get a lot of people who I know touch Apple devices a lot on the daily basis. So that's why I picked you three for tonight. Um, so yeah, let's just go over the event. First off, the first question I want to ask is, how did you guys just like feel about the flow of the event? Like, no products. Like, how did you feel about the organization and presentation and production and
So good.
everything of that nature?
Fast
Always love
paced.
it.
Yeah, like this event especially. Like it was so packed. Like it was super fast paced, and I loved like how they didn't because usually in like the events they spend like the first 10 minutes talking about like privacy and their impact to the environment, which is important, but like get to the good stuff,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed the Apple TV promo with like all of the big the big name actors and actresses. That was pretty cool. And
yeah,
also the Apple TV Sports thing. Thought that was pretty interesting with the whole like exclusive baseball game screenings like on Fridays or something. That was interesting. Didn't expect that at all. But yeah, really liked the flow of the event. Fast paced. They put a lot of like they announced a lot of stuff in that event,
Yeah.
and yeah, we have thoughts. So
oh
I'll
yeah,
end it there. Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed a little like not in a bad way. It seemed like confidently rushed. Like there was like
Yeah.
we know, yeah,
yeah,
the boom boom. Yeah. So as far as
There
pacing
was
goes
zero
in the
fluff. No
production,
fluff.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I liked it.
yeah. I
I
agree with
thought it
that.
was
It
good.
wasn't. Yeah, it was like no fluff at all. It was they literally were getting straight to the point. Had all their graphs and everything,
Especially
and
with the
just
ones that were barely updated.
yeah, that
I
was
think
fast. Yeah,
I
that
think
was
overall
crazy.
weren't they even inside of an hour?
Yeah, it
It
was
Yeah,
was
it
an
was like
hour. It
50
was an
something
hour.
minutes. Yeah.
50 something
It was
minutes, right? Yeah.
58. I mean, Like it it was was an like hour including like the end at the beginning, like musical
Yeah,
bits, but
Yeah.
like the actual meat was like 50 minutes or something.
yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's actually like really good for a keynote because the past few, like especially since everything went remote, like the past 2 years, there like these events have been like a drag. Apple's been like the only one that like consistently like made them entertaining. Well, not even entertaining, just like the production level. It's definitely like levels to it. Like
Eye
I feel like
candy,
they did a
right?
lot better than Samsung and what Google did in
I mean,
their
it's embarrassing like how kind of off key the Samsung event felt compared to this one because like even though the Samsung event announced like a bunch of stuff, it just didn't
yeah.
feel like it felt like a little bit off. But the Apple one, like I don't know how they managed to pull it off. I think it has to do like with the combination of the people and how they train the people to speak and what they're saying and like the just a mixture of the love of like the visuals and the I mean Apple knows how to pull off an event. Like they know how to make an event like just
Mm-hmm.
really good. Like even if it's like pure marketing, they know how to make it pure eye candy. So
Yep, it's
I'm
good,
happy for that.
Jason C.
So Jason.
Yeah, I agree with that. They definitely like trained. It was like almost like on an uncomfortable level. Like I made a tweet. I was like, "Why is everyone's legs like spread so far apart?" Like, and
Oh, that's
I
the
got like
power stance, right?
Power
Is
move. Now
exactly
stance,
yeah,
yeah.
like that's what
take
like
up as
eight
much room as
people.
possible.
Yeah, that's what like eight different people commented on my tweet. It's a power stance. So yeah, they definitely do a good job of training. We do know that. So yeah, let's get into the actual content. So the first thing they announced was the new Apple TV Plus films, and then the Friday Night Baseball. So how do you guys feel about that? What do you think is the future of Apple TV is like?
I'm not. I'll go first since that's not. I've been out of the loop as far as like sports goes, and a lot of the teams that I prefer, they're not that good. A lot of the times, but pushing all that aside, it's definitely a move into the competitors' streaming service. Because I remember one campaign in particular that stuck out is Hulu has live sports, right? And you have all that the kind of cool, neat, crazy stuff going on. They got cash guns or briefcases, and they're spinning like two basketballs on each finger. I know different sport, but just that whole part of it, and then Apple's like, well, we can secure some exclusives too. So, boom, that was an interesting move for me, of someone that wouldn't normally follow sports.
Right.
I found it very, I'd say not custom, but reminiscent to what you said, like Hulu doing live sports and all that.
Yeah.
It's kind of different how they chose baseball of all sports, but
it is
Apple
weird.
knows more than us, so I'm not gonna
You
knock
think
them
because
too
it's
much.
more American, or because the season hasn't technically started?
I
No,
think
it's
that's
not
a
like that.
major reason. I think that's a major reason because Apple is basically U.S. centric. Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing that they said was surprising was that it's only going to be on Apple TV. It's not going to be on a regular other streaming sites. It's only going to be on Apple TV to
So
watch.
blacked out exclusive, like completely.
That's a lot of money right there.
Oh, yeah,
Because
but it's Apple.
because they're like, oh, if you want to watch Friday night game, you got to get Apple TV now.
You got to go through us, man.
Wow. And that was like, I told them all at that point, I was like, dang, they have exclusivity with that. They're blocking out all the regular stations from using that, which you don't really see that often.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Not
it seems like
not
they're putting
everything.
a lot into the movies.
So,
And-
some.
I mean, I was surprised that it didn't increase the price of Apple TV Plus, like just making like a sport its own thing. I was surprised that it was still kept at like what, $5 per month, I think.
They have no.
I mean,
content.
like at the same time, I don't know who pays for Apple TV Plus because we get like a year free with every Apple purchase anyway. I'm pretty sure. So
I think it's only for new subscribers.
yeah, no.
I know one thing: Apple TV Plus should never increase in price because they don't have. They might have new shows and all that, but they have no catalog other than Apple TV originals. So I didn't expect them to. It's just I feel like they need to put some sort of cherry on top to get them enticed because that's what Amazon Prime Video did with football. They gave like a each Sunday or something like that. They gave a game you can watch on there. So it's not something new. We've seen it before. It's just the blacklisting thing was very different.
Yeah, over here, like I said, in California, the Bay Area specifically, we have so many sports teams that it's not uncommon that also because usually the same game will be on 2, maybe 3 channels, in your same area. Flipping through it and you're like, oh, what the heck? Why does this channel have it and this one doesn't? Oh, they're from, SoCal or somewhere else, to where because it's a game happening, for example, Oakland, they're trying to entice people to go to the game, pay for parking, buy the tickets, get the popcorn, get the soda, get the beer. But to black out the game, period, that's a pretty baller move. And also, going back to what you said as far as their catalog. So they shouldn't increase their price without giving us something in return, which would be to get maybe originals from other places, or just like that rotating. You know how, like, for example,
Netflix.
I think like South Park or Parks and Rec or Office,
some big
will have
TV that we
a
know
year
about
on this
before.
one, and then we'll have a year on that one, and then
Yeah,
the
I
6-month contract to stream everything, to your heart's content from this one, or binge
Mm-hmm.
that one, for one season or something like that. I think that would make sense, right? So the give and take, but yeah, for them to just up it just because that'd be a hard sell.
I think Disney's still only $7 a month, Disney Plus, and that's Disney, and they're putting out content more than Apple's putting out content. So, I don't see Apple increasing anytime soon unless they have some huge deal. Which it seems like they're really putting money into all their new productions, and it seems like they're doing it with some big name actors and actresses. Because we were watching, I was like,
nameless
everybody.
Yeah, right. I remember that too. Next to them would be Netflix, who I remember the first time I'm like, Adam Sandler and Netflix. Oh, okay, I like him, Adam. And then like, wait, didn't they just have an Adam Sandler movie? And then it's like they're actually good, right? They kind of like under promise, over deliver, and all those other exclusives that they have too. I'm like, they're getting serious. Like Hollywood is diversifying now. I don't know if there is a Hollywood anymore.
Yeah, they banked really heavily on names with that section of.
I mean, talent. So
yeah,
worth it, I would say.
I think it's cool. I think people also underrate my family. We have like the Apple One package. That's actually a good deal. Like, honestly.
Seriously.
Apple TV Plus, 2 terabytes of iCloud. You also get Apple Music, and then you get news. I don't this one, but like other stuff. And I'm just like
News Plus, Fitness Plus, Arcade
Spotify.
Plus.
Yeah, you get all that stuff. And I'm like, people don't realize if you have a family, it's a great deal. If you don't, it's not. But if you have a family, it's worth the money.
Yeah, man.
And it's also like iCloud as well, right? You get
the 2 terabytes of iCloud that you can share with everybody. And you have your own localized one. It's not like everybody's stuff is all together, but like,
yeah, right.
You have your chunk of it.
yeah.
I gotcha. So I don't think we should go in chronological order, like on the event, just because there's
It's your stream,
things
man.
that deserve more time than others. So the next
you
thing that
want.
we're gonna.
Well,
the
actually,
next
can we please get the iPhone SE out of the way, because that's a disappointment.
Oh,
That I
They
don't
should have
want to
gave a
go
new
too much.
color. They should have gave a new
They
color.
didn't even give it new color.
They should have given a new
$30
phone. A new phone. Like, come on.
I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't. Obviously, that's too much of an ask. But a new color,
Yeah.
even if it was
Honestly,
the same dookie green.
Honestly, I don't hate the iPhone SE because of the iPhone SE. I hate the price that they have it at.
I had the
Like,
price as well.
that threw me all the way off. I was like,
Because-
what in the world are they
If it
doing?
was $300, I say get
Exactly.
that thing. Great deal.
Hmm.
$430. Now you're competing at like that upper low end budget phones that kind of just like are giving you some great specs for the money. And I don't think anybody at that price range is worrying about an A15 Bionic chip.
Right,
like-
because-
Say it was 300. Now is that even better value than any of the 13s? Because then that's why they didn't do it.
But I don't think the person who buys the 13 would buy an SE. Like, I don't think
I don't think
those
so
markets
either.
are like intersecting that
It's
much.
hard times, man.
Fair.
I just think
hard
the SE,
enough to not hard enough to stop balling, but
it should have been at least at
Balling
most
on a budget.
350. When you hit at 440,
Yeah.
I'm just like buy an
Yeah,
11
that's a
Pro,
lot.
an iPhone 11 Pro used, and it's gonna be a better experience in every which way. You don't have the
There are
fastest
reports that they've increased the battery capacity on the SE to kind of counter the effects of 5G, but even then it's going to be like the same mediocre battery life. That's
it's
what I've
still
heard.
gonna-
Not
I
sure
mean,
if that's
the
true,
original
but-
one has 1800 milliamp hours. It's tiny as hell. They can't increase it
Yeah.
that much.
I think
I mean, at the most, it's probably like 2,000 or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
they mentioned it was like mostly software and chip optimization.
But
But
they
even
never
still,
said increased battery size.
okay.
Yeah.
I guess if it just doesn't dip in battery life and you technically have more features, but still the same amount of battery to kill with it, I guess.
No, they should have used the iPhone 10R, honestly, like the old 10R
Exactly. I've
chassis.
been saying that for like the past.
But like
few months.
that
Well-
price would be justified if they used the 10R
Exactly.
chassis, because
They're
like,
gonna
it doesn't.
milk
I don't think. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna milk it. This,
Oh,
hopefully,
yeah,
we're
they're
hoping,
milking
right?
this
That
one.
this is the last year of this.
They're
design.
they're making like a 90% profit on this. I swear. Like this thing costs like $69 to make. They're banking
Probably.
hard on the profit margins on this.
And to Jason too. I mean, you picture we're the only psychos that would upgrade every year if we could. You got people that still have 8s, 7s,
yeah.
and 6s that are fine.
You
They're
know,
perfect.
I really,
They
someone
want them
just wrote that. Yeah, what you're reading right there.
Yes,
I
sir.
died when they put that in the presentation. They said, oh, compared to the 6S, 7, and 8, we have so much
It
more.
makes sense though, because the person who
not
buys
for
this phone goes from one of those phones, and it does make sense
Yeah.
though.
It does.
Yeah, this
The
is not
thing
for
I don't
us.
understand is that they had the iPhone SE. Wouldn't think now 2 years later.
I feel like Apple thinks that people who buy the iPhone SE kind of they graduate to like a higher end iPhone. I feel like that's what Apple thinks people do with iPhone SE, because
I don't think they do.
I think they
But,
stay.
yeah.
Most of them stay there.
I think they
Whenever-
stay in the budget. Yeah.
Yeah. whenever you-
Whenever I see people with an SE, they keep on buying the same thing over and over again because they're just content with it. They don't
Right.
feel like
Yeah.
going bigger. They don't feel
I
like
mean,
getting anything different.
you got the
I
latest.
wonder if the A15
5G.
chip is downclocked though on the SE. I wonder if it's downclocked.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, like for that price, for say I was that person and I'm like, oh, hey, that's my phone. I'm gonna get it. Boom, I'm in here, dude. I got the same exact chip and the what is it? The flagship feature of the what was the 12 Pro Max? 5 good, right? Like, why? It's a steal. You're making out like a bandit at that point. Like, why would I get any other phone?
I think the thing we see here is that we already know when people get accustomed with what they like, they're not going to stray away from what they like. If someone bought an iPhone 8, went to the SE, they're going to buy the SE 2022. They're not going to stray away from that. They like, whenever I hear it's like, I miss my home button, I can't have no home button. Well, they're still selling the phone with the home button now. I'm going to buy that one. So I don't see anybody new buying that. That's why they compare it to the 6, 7, and 8, I feel like, but they should have also done the SE, I feel. But, I'm not the company. But they know their market. Like, they're not going from an iPhone 10R to an SE 2022. That 10R is going to an iPhone 12 or 13.
Yeah, everyone that was saying like, oh, like it's a press release. It's a press release. That's to us. Obviously, to us, we're like, yeah, just don't steal my precious event time, highly polished to sell the shit out of this thing. But That's the point of business, right? They're gonna sell the shit out of this thing, and what better way to get everyone more excited?
I mean, it's funny because if tech companies only made things for tech enthusiasts, they'd be out of business.
Yeah,
like straight up. But yeah,
I mean, we'll go broke on it, but we're not. There's no way we can hold the candle to the other 90%.
Yeah,
and
I
their
thought
buying
this was
power.
an interesting point right here. You could trade in the SE 2020 and get the new one for $150.
Damn,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
actually.
I feel like that's an average deal.
Make sure you get the money up front, or eventually. We were just talking about this backstage. Oh man,
don't want to deal with the client.
Careful.
Thing. But I mean, I made a video about it. It's like I don't really have a problem with the phone. It's just like at that price, I just expect like some features to be there, like a 1080p screen. Now, some people say you don't need a 1080p screen at that size, and I say, no, you do. I'm sorry, for $430, I would expect it at that price.
See, I agree that the screen needs to be better, but I don't think a 1080p screen on that phone would work because of like, if you've noticed, like Apple has so many different screen resolutions for like all of their phones, right? And for developers, it's a massive nightmare. Like, because I think the thing they should have done, I'm gonna die on this hill. They should have re-released the 10R as the SE. Exactly. I'm sorry, but like people like the home button. I get that, but at some point there needs to be like a line in the sand in terms of what's good value and what's actually like a good phone, and like what's cheap and like all of that. There needs to be like actual balance between those three things. And this iPhone SE seems like Apple is milking the heck out of this design. They are. Oh, they know exactly what they're doing because people are going to buy this phone anyway. But I feel like Apple could give people the better experience and kind of make... Because I think it would also be in Apple's best interest to like make the iPhone SE at least look similar to the latest flagships, because then people would feel more inclined to graduate to the more high-end flagship on their next purchase. Like, possibly, right?
All I say is that I would have much rather the plus... Like, I wish they would have done the 8 Plus body instead of...
Yeah.
Just, I feel like that would have been more like, hey, you still get the dual cameras, you still get a nicer screen, which I think is fine, and you get a phone that's not bad in battery life. So you won't like, if they did that, I would have no problem at $430, right?
That's way more justifiable.
It's more justifiable, and you're not like using this tiny phone that's just like there.
And also, like, people keep talking about the people who only want a small phone, but I don't think in that market, like, small phones have as much of an impact as people say they do. I think that's more of a tech enthusiast perspective. That's just my opinion.
So too.
Because like most people, I feel like if you look at like budget Android phones, they're all like, they're massive. They're like bordering on being 7-inch tablets, right? And the iPhone SE being 4.7 inches, I feel like, especially for like the audience of like less tech enthusiasts, like, you know, maybe more elderly people, they would probably benefit from a larger screen on a phone to begin with. But
I personally think, was going back to it, we saw with the Mini, as we know, the Mini's going away this generation with the iPhone 14 series. Nobody's buying mini phones anymore like that. They would make we see it. We want to believe that people want that, but then they get mad about the battery life. They get mad that things just don't seem the same as a bigger phone. So
the people who advocate for the Mini don't actually buy the Mini most of the time.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I remember my sister when she was going from an iPhone like 8-ish. She's like, I want to stay at the same size. Then she got the bigger phone. She's like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. And I'm just like, I think that people want the Mini, but won't buy the Mini. We see the Zen.
They like the idea of it. They don't like the idea of using it.
We see the Zenfone 8. It's tiny. No one buys it, even though it's a great little phone.
Yeah. Did you guys see the videos about how they very likely shot themselves in the foot by using the name Mini, in which they're like, yo, that phone was way too small. I mean, now, because we've been used to the, you know, gargantuan phones for like a decade and something now, but you figure it's about the same footprint while giving you more screen than like the 5 and 5S. So like that I think it should have been 13, or rather, let's go up to the 12. It would be the 12 and the 12 Plus, and then the Plus Pro or Max, right? Or however, something like that, like just to be the standard.
We already see this happening. We see this happening with the next generation. As we saw the rumors, we're having the cheaper iPhones have a regular model and then a Plus model, and then we're going to see the same thing because Apple knows nobody is buying the Mini. And they know people want that 6.1 inch, whatever the hell size it is. That's a sweet spot for people now. That used to be the massive phone. That's a sweet spot. And I just think we all know, I say it is, that's a cash grab. The SC 2022, People are gonna buy it. That's what they're gonna buy. I just think it's kind of like a punch in the face to consumers. Almost, they're just kind of like, you're gonna still buy it. It's there. We didn't really put much time and effort into this.
So
what did Miles just say right now? It's $150 out of pocket with trade-in, like, and that's exactly how they get you. Because I think you can still finance that probably, right? Carrier financing.
Yeah, I mean,
probably, so they're making financing. You're almost an idiot for not doing it. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that be worse? So you're like, dude, seriously? You're gonna have this phone for 2, maybe 3, 4 years.
They're making it into like the logical upgrade path. That's what they're doing.
I think the funniest thing is that people say the battery life of my SE is fine, and I'm just like, stop the cap. I can't stop.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't justify it. It might be good for the first month or two, but for a fact that battery's gonna degrade like crazy, and then you're gonna have literally the tiniest little thing that you ever even seen before.
Especially
I also think
5G.
Yeah, there is a whole subjectivity to battery life as well, because if these people don't use their phones, I feel like they might think it's good battery life because they haven't got like a range of perspective like people who spend too much money on phones. But at the same time, like it does feel like a slap to the face to consumers. I don't like the approach Apple's taking with the SE.
I do have a question for you guys. Due to the lack of sales that the Mini gets, how do you guys feel about the SE and Mini like merging?
Like in terms of making the Mini the SE
and then the SE Plus,
but cheaper, maybe somehow combining the two form factors and maybe one camera instead of two.
As Ramal was saying, in the 10R body, like just say we put cheaper components in like the regular size 10R and stuff like that, 6.1 inches, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm perfectly fine. Put an LCD screen, just make it 1080p, because I feel like that's a threshold for me.
It is.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. And then price it, like Apple's been doing pretty well with pricing, honestly, compared to Android.
It's just the naming that they need to fix, man.
And I really also want to throw it out. The SE 2022 seems to not have millimeter wave. It's only sub 6. So,
which is good. That's a good thing.
Which is needed.
Yeah.
If it had millimeter wave, you might as well just kiss the battery goodbye. As soon as you go to millimeter wave, it just shuts down. Because even on my 13 Pro Max, when you're on millimeter wave, that thing will eat through battery. It doesn't matter how good iPhones are. Millimeter wave just chunks it out.
Watch, they're going to do that same press release I think that Verizon did. You can go in settings and turn off 5G to extend your battery life.
I mean, that's what battery saver mode does on the 13s. If you turn it on, it turns off 5G.
Yeah, no refresh and even dim your screen or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
On the, I think iPad does it too.
I mean, we'll see. It's the SC22 is gonna sell like hotcakes.
Oh, for sure.
Just because of what it is. I just don't like it as a person.
I still would have appreciated some color, something. Even like, okay,
they didn't even update the colors.
You know the pink on like how it's like barely a touch of pink. It's like faded pink. Flesh skin on the 13, something like that. Like just something other, But they wasted the two colors on the regular iPhone and the Pine. I like the Pro Green. Don't get me wrong. That
the Pro Green is what I wanted.
That's
I told Ramal.
Yeah,
I told him the iPhone 11 Pro Green was the green I wanted, and that's almost exactly like this one.
Or imagine if they did like a 5C green. You remember that? I think they called it.
The bright lime green.
Something like that. It's for the SE3, just to and a new color.
Apple should have been more courageous with their colors for the SE. Like at least imagine like a black borders, but like colored back. Like that would have been like something different for the SE, just to make it stand out a little bit more.
As a tech,
that green looks so good.
Discussing all this stuff, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That
jacket case anyway.
I feel like
it's like we want to talk about this, and they're just like, we sold 1 million today. I don't know.
I mean, as far as like the naming, what if like how Galen said, say they do a 10R or a mini variant, and it's like the SE and then SE Pro, because we know like that just means this one is different. It doesn't mean necessarily like up, down, sideways or whatever. So
instead of an SE Pro, they still keep around the 11 anyway. They keep the 11 around. Like the SE Pro would literally be the same price as the 2-year-old flagship, because Apple keeps that around anyway.
iPhone 11
that would be the 11 Pro.
Great phone.
Yeah.
Still a great phone.
If
someone said I want to buy a used iPhone 11 Pro, like go for it.
Right.
Yeah. That green.
So they definitely. I feel like they definitely they play with the colors like this, like definitely for recognition. Like the 13 Pro is definitely like a uglier, darker green.
And these phones were ready. They were just like, no, let's save it because it shits on the other two. other color options. So let's save it for 6 months from
I
now.
mean, think about it for a second. Most of Apple's cheaper lineups now are color focused on so many variants now. But then the SE comes out as the cheapest one with absolutely no color variation.
Man,
Yeah, Apple's keeping their production lines tight. Like they're wringing every penny out of the SE. Like
I mean,
to
they
almost
low-key
like
have to as well. I mean, we see it everywhere right now. Crap, Rivian and all that.
4 SE.
I would say make the sting, less so. Like exactly how we're saying. Like we know this is going to be a money machine for them, and I'm like, you just give them a little something different, so that even they can stun on each other. Oh, you got that 2020 SE, bro. Check out the
Look at the new color I got.
Look at the little 5G is there sometimes. Oh, I have it turned off. Wait, let me turn it on and then I'll show you right now.
Yeah, so there's nothing terribly wrong with it. The pricing throws me off because if they price at $300, great device, great phone. $140 more? No. For me.
Yeah, I was really surprised when they increased the price by 30.
They
Like
said,
even the $30 is
That's
a
a
bit.
lot.
Like,
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like I was really
For
thinking
that
it was gonna
phone.
drop at like 300.
I was like,
mm.
I mean, I know everything's getting more expensive and things like that, but like at the same time, y'all put barely any R&D in this phone. I feel like we changed the inside architecture to allow for more battery life. I'm like, y'all just use the same stack chip design you already had for all your other phones.
For the iPhone SE, we wanted to bring together never before seen wallpapers.
Oh,
And
dude,
here
yeah.
they are,
and
exclusive to the SE.
They didn't update the cameras or anything either. So it's just like
No,
y'all
yeah,
just
it's
reuse
so
the SE
weird.
2020, put a new chip in it, and put 5G, but not even full 5G because it would just tear through the
Classic
battery.
timeless design. Yeah,
5G Lite.
I can just imagine Johnny Ive just voiceovering this thing.
Right.
We chose to do what works.
Timeless design.
It's what he's been working on for the last
Hey.
5 years.
That's hilarious.
But one thing is
Johnny
one
Ive.
thing.
Yeah.
One thing is one thing. That iPhone SE 2022 will outperform every Android phone. Which makes no sense.
Wow.
Oh damn!
It's the fact people are already saying that in my comments. I'm like, it technically is true, which is kind of crazy that Apple's able to vertically integrate down to that part. But
It's
is
Apple
it
Silicon
usable?
scaling up and down.
Oh, and up and down.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, even though it is so powerful, you'll never actually use it in that phone. Just
No,
Exactly.
no,
That's
why-
yeah. That's
No,
so. How do you guys feel about phones like the Pixel 5a?
I thought this was Apple
has
event
5G?
only.
Anyways,
I was told this was Apple event.
anyways.
Mm.
The Pixel, like phones with like crazy value, like the Pixel 5a has 5G, and Samsung devices like the A52 5G or things like that. Like, do you think the iPhone SE like kills these, or do you think it's like
Nah.
still like a preference thing?
There's-
Or
Well, it
I
doesn't
feel
It's a
fold.
Fine.
I'd say it's a preference thing between like people who want a
very
cheap iPhone, they go for the SE. People who want just a, I mean, this is like obviously Western markets as well because Samsung's like the only mid-range player I feel like in the Western market with like the A52 5G.
I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing, someone literally commented that on my video. They're like, well, my A52 has this. And I get what they're saying, and they're two very different types of people, right?
yeah,
The
that's
iPhone
true.
SE just wants an iPhone because they want an iPhone. They don't give a crap about what the screen looks like. They don't give any. They just want a phone that works, that has iMessage, FaceTime, all that. A person
Yeah.
who buys an A52 5G, they know that's probably going to be the little workhorse for the year or two that it gets updated, or actually more now. And they can watch their shows on there, have a great little experience, but they want their phone to do, I feel like, as much as they can for the value. And those are two different people. I don't really think people are cross-buying these two phones.
No,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the iPhone SE is like just a vessel for iOS. It's nothing. It's nothing
It's-
more, nothing
Yeah,
less.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yo, TA, I'm actually having like some performance issues with my laptop right now, so I don't think adding another person would help. Like, I just had to downsize to 480p. So,
Yeah, is that why your quality just went all potato a few minutes
yeah,
ago?
I had to. Yeah, I'm working on a Surface
How are you
Go
squished right now? Is it me or does he look like he's
You're on a
like
Surface Go?
squished?
Yes, I'm on the Surface Go right now.
Oh, there's your
no.
problem.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you're able to even do this on the
Yeah, I was-
Surface Go.
yeah.
I'm on my Surface Studio right now, and the battery's chewing. It's chewing through it. It's
Really?
I've gone from 100% like 2.5 hours ago, and now I'm at like 35.
Yeah, I think this one has like an i5. This is like the Surface Go laptop, not just the Surface Go.
Oh, the laptop.
So this,
okay.
yeah,
All
this
right.
one has an i5, but still, it's like.
All right, let's go to
wider.
Ramon, see if he can salvage this pathetic display here. Ramon, what are you on? Don't say Surface.
MacBook Pro 16-inch.
Oh my god,
M1 Pro.
yeah. Oof.
I haven't charged this thing in a couple of days. No, I'm all good. I'm not even plugged in right now. I'm through OBS and
It's
everything.
one thing I
Dude,
missed. I'm about to start talking
Yeah.
about a whole bunch of this Microsoft Studio laptop before my exclusivity.
I wasn't sure if I would be able to
Yeah, I
stay
agree with this
the
one. I
remainder
would
of this,
grab
man.
I would grab a 12 mini over the SE22
Too much Windows
as well.
going on. Yeah, 16-inch
because-
M1 Max MacBook Pro over here, because I have
Oh, yeah,
that
dude.
sort of love and respect for y'all. And it's not for me, it's for y'all and the viewers and the replay crew and everybody.
Ooh, iPad Air, dude.
Okay,
I love the
run it
blue
through.
iPad Air. Blue
No.
iPad Air, love it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I mean, it's all right.
It's cool. It looks good. I like it. I feel like they do this weird leapfrog type stuff to where like even when you're about to and you jump in, you're only good for maybe half a year ish, which I guess it's like a good 50-50 because you know there's
can
something
see
better
how much
around
the
the corner.
256 is?
Yeah, let me see.
Because it's
Yeah,
$100.
I might
more.
actually pick up an iPad Air just to like not to
Oh,
like maybe
it's
not.
$150 more. What?
Wait, is it?
Yep.
Is it actually?
Oh
Yep.
my god!
Yep.
Oh god, okay. Well,
From
Wait,
599 to
150? I thought it was just
749.
100.
I thought
No,
it was
it's
100. It's 150.
It's
Yeah,
150.
Oh my god!
Yep.
That's a big price jump right there.
That is.
Did
a
you
big
guys buy the
pri-
last
Well,
Air?
technically, I kind of get it because usually the in between is like the 128 or whatever, and that's usually like $50.
I can't.
they
believe
should have
they're not
increased the
selling
base storage to
128
128.
base.
They should.
How
They
do they
should have
not make?
started.
How can you put an M1 chip in an Air and not have 128 gigs base?
Because
Dude, at this rate, the M1 chip's gonna be like showing up in soup kitchens and stuff. Because like Apple's like handing it out willy nilly.
It's like
It's just
the
in
new
everything. Yeah.
HomePod
Soup
Mini has
kitchen.
two M1 Max chips inside.
The
So you
whole-
process audio at 50 times the power you've ever seen before.
oh my god!
Yeah.
A HomePod Mini with the M1. That's
AirPods
hilarious.
Max powered by like M1 Ultra. Like, oh yeah. Real time. Yeah.
I mean, okay, the iPad Air is great.
A
for
bin
what it
version,
does.
a bin
It's
version.
nothing. Let's be happy that they did not increase the price.
I guess so.
The iPad Air is like the best iPad Pro killer there is for the 11-inch at least. Like,
you
know-
it's right at this
100%.
point.
This is what I say about it.
Yeah.
I was telling to Ramal during the event. Even though the Tab S8 is 120 hertz, it's still LCD.
Mm-hmm.
You iPad Air or a Tab S8. I don't know what the base price of the Tab S8 is. It's like how can you
It's
justify?
$800, I think. I think it's $800. The Tab S8.
Yeah, I think it is
Damn.
$800.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
You can't
but
justify.
it's not an OLED display, so you're not getting anything out of it.
insane.
I mean, it's still LCD, and I know it's 120 hertz, but like Apple just said, yeah, ours is just better, except for the 120 hertz part in every single way.
Yeah, I am thinking I want to try a little experiment, so I'm probably going to pick up an iPad Air because I currently have the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I want to see if I can replace the iPad Pro with the iPad Air because
wow.
since I got my Surface Pro, I use my iPad like just for iPad things, and it's getting to the point where the 12.9 inches is way too big. And like since I use my iPad for like literally only content consumption, I don't think the 120 hertz really makes that much of a difference for me. Like just for reading and watching videos.
How could you
in
go
bed.
from all 120 hertz stuff to 60?
Dude, I don't really care, honestly.
I was gonna
Like,
Yes,
say,
you
like-
do. Yes, you do, Ramal.
I
Yes, you
care.
do.
I care, but only when I'm swiping on the home screen. Otherwise, when I'm watching a video, I hit play, then I don't touch the iPad for like the next 30 minutes.
He
Like-
says that, guys, and then complains
as
when
a-
there's no 120 hertz on certain things. So
Yeah, right.
Miles, stop exposing me, please. Just this once. But like, I'm trying to look. I'm seriously trying to downsize like the iPad because it's like I don't want to carry around a 12.9-inch iPad because like I don't
That
carry
makes
around.
sense.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit
massive.
him when he runs out of stuff to binge on YouTube, and he's just swiping his
Scrolling
screen,
through it.
and he's gonna be pissed off. He's gonna be like, "God,
Also, Ramal,
Kelly
it's
scroll.
only dual speakers. It's not quad.
yeah,
I
man,
don't
do
care.
that to me
I wear headphones when I watch stuff on my
You know,
iPad
you say
anyway,
that.
so.
until the battery dies."
I charge these every day. Look, it's
Leave
okay.
them
You
all alone.
you guys
I
are just
mean-
ganging
I
up
mean-
on me right now. You're making
Right,
me
leave
feel
them
like
all
shit. Like, come on,
alone.
leave me alone, guys. Come
Like-
on.
It's like this side versus this side.
One of the best
Yeah.
uses for not just an iPad but the Pro iPads, and you just said it, is your main use case is media consumption, content
Yeah.
consumption, and I mean, why that would be the pinnacle of it, or rather the one that you have because that was the redesign, right, with the 12.9
Look,
screen size.
I'm gonna deliberate. Like, I'm selling one of them.
I've
I'll be
got the
selling one of
2020,
them. Yeah,
and that's exactly
yeah.
that's the main
It's
thing.
basically the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
all
it's
I
a beast
use.
when it
I have
comes
a Tab S7 Plus media consumption. Great for media
Yeah.
consumption.
Oh,
I
it's the
tell
best,
people
yeah.
if you want a tablet to just watch stuff all the time, I kid you not. Even if you have an iPhone, if you get a Samsung tablet for cheap, you gonna be real good. The speakers on this tablet be really good.
See, I'm the sort of person who like lays down and like holds my device up, and holding the 12.9-inch iPad up like above my head is like a bit of a pain.
Yeah,
You
it's
poor
a lot.
thing.
I'm that sort of
One of
person.
those neck things. Just have it like perched on your neck and just
I
have it.
know exactly what she's
Get a-
talking about. Yeah.
Get a series of
Yeah.
pulleys, right, and then right above to where you're gonna lay down, and then you just
Yeah.
rig that. I'll send you a video.
That's
It's
quite
easy.
a rig.
Because like I don't want an iPad Mini, but I want like something that's big but not like unwieldy. You know.
I
And
guess
so
Air,
like,
yeah.
nothing's
Yeah.
wrong with the iPad Air. It's a great.
Nah.
I feel like it's a great in between. Do I wish it started 120 gigs, 128 gigs? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, funnily enough, I have the 256 gig iPad Pro. I've only used 40. I haven't gone over 40 gigs on it. Like for the 3.5 years I've had it. So like,
yeah, because
So-
you're. I mean, media consumption. So you're not
So
really
what
down.
Yeah,
you
a lot of
guys-
it's streaming.
yeah.
Yeah, none of it's
Yeah.
local.
So my major issue is what does this do to people who spent money on the Pro, on the iPad Pro, just to get the M1? Like, they're just
Again,
throwing-
I
they're
mean,
just throwing
you're
it
still
in the
getting a
air
better
now.
screen on the Pro.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
it's 0.1 inches bigger
And
and it's
battery
120
life
hertz.
too, right?
No,
Yeah,
I think it's the
battery life
same.
is
They're all
probably-
the
Same
same.
battery life.
I mean, the
Yeah.
only upgrades we know from
Like-
now, you get quad speakers, 120 hertz LCD screen, not the mini LED.
So it's
The
louder.
extra,
Oh, go ahead.
the extra BS camera on the back and lidar.
Face ID. Face ID.
Mm.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Face ID, which no.
I
one
mean, in
cares.
terms of like
I
the
would prefer
these.
I would prefer the touch. So
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
like in
just-
terms of the price jump from the 600 Air to the 800 iPad Pro, there is stuff that makes it worth it, but if it like, I don't think it's important to most people who
Wait.
buy the Pro over the Air, if that makes sense. Like, I don't
much
think
is
it's
the
like
Pro?
that.
yeah, how much?
800
is the Pro
bucks.
now?
Oh,
Really?
oh my God! Wait, that makes it super
price?
difficult.
Oh
then.
yeah, that
Do you-
makes it. That makes
Yeah.
it
because that means
Wait.
do you go to the extra $50 and lose 128 gigs, or you get you spend the extra $50 and just get the one with the better everything else?
Yeah, it's
Oh wait, because the
800.
256 gig Air is like really bad. Like
It's
value.
$750.
You're talking
Oh
about
my God! Wait a dang man.
Wait, they're like the
That's-
same device now, aren't they? Like when you go to the storage, then
I
then
would
the
just
Pro
take a
becomes
hit
the
on the
better
storage.
buy.
9.
Yeah.
You see what they're doing right
So
here?
how
They're
much
making you go
storage
to
is
the
on
next
that?
price jump.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's why.
128.
But what
That's
color
crazy.
would you get, Ramon?
Oh, the blue
That's
definitely.
fair.
Oh, my guy. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, you
All
know
right,
one
okay.
thing? I might. Hey, you never know. I might pick up an iPad Pro, but I will only be buying it during back to school time because they give you all the discounts.
good.
And
Oh,
the
dude,
earbuds.
the back to school sales in Australia ended yesterday, like the day before the new iPad came out.
Of course. That's on purpose, man.
Like,
that was definitely on
Yeah.
purpose.
yeah.
Hey, that's what I'd be doing. Whenever I'd be buying Apple products, I'd be waiting till like a student discount thing comes out. You don't even need a check; they'll just give it to you. Like they'll just here's some AirPod Pros. Here, I'm like, thanks,
gonna-
man. It's my 5th pair. Thanks.
That's funny here. You don't skip ARM day.
Thunderbolt USB.
They got
Have you guys noticed the website redesign as well on the home screen? Like, there's like tiles with rounded corners now. Looks kind of
I
cool.
didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Are all the colors like a new? I feel like the iPad Air colors, they look different.
They're a bit more saturated. Like, they're not as dull as they
Yeah,
were
they do
last year,
look
which I
alike.
really
And then
like.
was it always like
Yeah.
a matte finish? Because I feel like the previous Airs, or do they not sparkle?
They've never really. I mean,
No?
there's
Okay.
been like
They've
a bit
always
of a
been
metallic
matte.
sheen, but like they haven't really sparkled. If that makes sense.
I was like, they look more
Yeah.
like pastel. I like it.
Hey,
Mm.
nothing wrong with it, but then that iPad Pro situation comes up. That's a there.
Wait, actually, hold up, because you can get a refurb 2020 iPad Pro 11 for like cheaper than the 256
Oh, yeah,
gig
yeah.
iPad
Yeah,
Air.
Like 500.
And the M1 chip literally does nothing.
Not
like, let's
yet,
be honest.
probably. Not yet.
It,
Nope.
Apple's not.
Not
like,
yet.
Apple
No,
could
not
make the
Yeah, not
Apple
yet.
could make
Watch
the-
Apple
Don't
put
do
some
that.
software out this
Don't do
next
that.
this with MWDC.
They better. They
WWDC.
literally have to at this point. I don't.
They need Final Cut Pro for like M1 iPads. I mean, like, I don't
That'd
know.
be insane.
They need.
You know what's
They
funny
need to do
is
at least give us external display support.
That's
External
true.
display
That's
support
sad.
at least.
Like true, no, like not the BS we have now, but like actual
That's
true,
what I was
like
talking
external
about.
display. Yeah.
I feel like Apple's doing this to themselves. Like, you know how like that whole FOMO or whatever. Now within Apple, it's like, man, and with these new groundbreaking chips, the M1, and we have it in here, and it's this desktop class, and by the way, we stole it for the iPad. So for y'all that want the iPad, like we got it. And then it's like, and then now these other chips that are way better than the little basic little dirty last year's M1 chip that doesn't matter. We don't care about it, and it sucks. And then it's like, wait, but it's in your best tablets, but then it's in your worst. It's, I don't know, man. It's like, so it's this great thing, right? On the 24-inch iMac, the Mac Mini, the MacBook Air, right, and all this, and then it's like for the iPad, what? Now it's like, what?
Sorry.
Yeah, what are they gonna do next?
When are they, I don't know when they're gonna. It's weird. It's so weird because now the Air has exactly.
I mean,
now it's trickling down.
I just was looking at my Pixel 6. I haven't really been using it, and also I went to my TikTok, and it auto generates captions now, even like within TikTok.
Yes, I've been noticing that on my S22 Ultra as well. It auto generates captions, not on every video, but on some videos.
That's an Android update because I'd never seen that before.
Not on every video though.
I don't have TalkTick yet.
So how do you guys feel about the new Mac Studios?
I wish I would need it.
I wish I needed it. But like I don't, I swear I don't. I don't need it. But like the pricing, I really like the pricing.
Yeah,
no, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I don't need it. Like I'm telling myself I do not need it. Like I am like it's like a mantra in my head. I don't need it.
I mean, I just find it so crazy. I find it so crazy. The thermal solution for this Mac Studio is absolutely insane. How half the unit is just fans.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's more than half the unit. The entire like
it's 2/3 of it. 2/3 of it.
This big.
Yeah.
It's the front. It's like a quarter of it, right? It's like 1/4 of the cube.
It's insane. When they showed it in the press and they showed it in the video, the fans were like this big.
But they only go halfway back though, so it's like a quarter of the unit. But I get what you're saying. It is big.
Yeah. It is big, and I think
like people are worried. Like in my videos, people are worried about the thermals. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything to be worried about. Like Apple Silicon already is very efficient, and I think this is like the most the biggest like thermal like solution we've seen in any Apple Silicon Mac so far.
And I think
that's saying something.
One of the reasons that efficiency is going to come in, not just like to keep everything like how well it's going to cool, obviously something that size, but how quiet it's going to be because
definitely,
you don't got to have these little titanium pinwheels that are a centimeter thick.
Yeah, I'm about to say the amount of actual volume they have in that fan. It's just how this is exactly what they did for the Xbox Series X. Instead of having smaller fans like they used to in the past, they made a huge, just like I don't know how big it was. It was massive.
And air it just moves. It moves a lot of air.
That's what you want.
It moves a lot of air. And I saw that, and I'm like, that's exactly what that thing's probably gonna be dead silent.
I'm okay with this whole. We can move away from the thinner, lighter.
Yeah.
Even outside of Apple, because I'm like, nah, man, tech's already fragile as it is, and it's expensive. Like, make it durable.
I mean, even then, the Mac Studio is tiny. It is like it's a Tupperware container. Like it is tiny. Yeah,
it's for the amount of power they're pushing out of there is absolutely insane. And then me and Ramal were going when we were talking about it once the event happened. It's like we started pricing out equivalent PCs, desktop PCs.
That was fun.
Equivalently, it's neck and neck with the price, which I was like, that's insane because you have full towered PC desktops, and this thing is this big.
What Apple?
And Galen, if you actually go to the pricing section of the Mac Studio, you can actually see that Apple's being a lot more fair with their like upgrade, like within like the actual tiers of storage and RAM. Like it isn't as like it's still bad, but it's not like it's not illegally bad like it was before. like the 8 terabytes, like you can. I think the maxed out Mac Studio is $7,000. That's a lot of money, but like. A maxed out Mac Pro is what, $53,000, and this one beats it. Like it runs circles around it. Like it's not even
because Intel, baby,
it's in a different league. Intel's just out here shitting its pants.
What we also noticed is that the cheapest versions of each chip are bin versions of it. So whatever, which kind of sucks because. For some reason, the iPad Air doesn't have bin versions of the M1 chip, but the cheapest MacBooks have they're all binned. Why are all the iPads not binned, but every Mac computer has a bin chip as the base model, pretty much.
Yeah, deadass.
That's crazy.
Doesn't make
It's really
sense to me.
funny.
For a tiny
But-
slap in the face? I don't know.
But
I mean, even the iPhone 13 is a binned A series of the iPhone 13 Pro. Like
Oh, that is true. I
everything's
forgot
binned
about that.
except like the M1 in the iPad. Like that's
Yeah,
like
but-
full-fledged
But
M1.
specs don't matter. Remember, we're talking about Apple here, and it's
Oh, yeah,
optimized.
fair.
So who cares how much RAM it does or doesn't have?
I wonder how much RAM the iPad Air has. I wonder if it's
By the
8
way,
gigs or
this
6
one
gigs.
has more RAM than
8.
this one. No, you know.
Yeah,
Is it 8 gigs?
16
The iPad Air has 8
8.
gigs of RAM now?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
sick.
base
Wow,
model.
that's actually
That's
pretty
the base
sure.
model. Yeah.
yeah.
But I
Crazy.
think, hey, the Mac Studio looks amazing.
Yeah.
They actually didn't. The port selection seems great. That they're all Thunderbolt 4 ports on both sides.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
If you get the
So-
better one, on the base model, they're not.
Really?
Oh,
If you get
great.
the Ultra.
They're
course.
regular.
I mean, yeah, because the
Yeah, and the M1 Max.
the M1
Yeah.
Max has
The regular
like,
on the front.
Thunderbolt
Yeah.
lanes. Like you have double the Thunderbolt lanes. So
Well,
like
that
it's literally,
sucks.
I love how it's literally just two M1 Maxes. I found that so funny. Like
I
it's
said
just
that-
literally two.
I
yeah.
literally told him before they announced it,
Yeah.
and the thing I was like, watch it be like some M1 like Max Ultra thing, and then it comes out. I'm like, bet you they're just combining both of them. He's like, no, they're not, Miles. They can't do that, and that's exactly what they said. It's like
Well, we
No,
did
no.
have two of them.
See, when I said they can't do that, I meant like in terms of like just having two separate CPUs, because like then that changes the entire architecture, which means the apps don't
Yeah.
have the same compatibility. But now like they've found a way to bridge them with with seemingly very little like loss in like efficiency and performance, because usually when you have like when you combine CPUs like that,
Yeah.
there is like a massive like loss factor of efficiency and power between the two. But like this seems to be like it's acting like one CPU, which I think is crazy,
Yeah.
and like not many people are talking about how good that bridging technology is between like the two halves of that chip. It's monumental.
Well, it's
I mean-
Ultra Fusion, sir.
Ultra Fusion.
So that's why.
We built this. Yeah. I think the funniest thing was right at the end of the presentation. He's like, and we still have one more to go. The Mac Pro.
Oh, I
I was like,
They
what
didn't
else
say
could
Mac
you
Pro.
do?
No. They didn't name it. They just said one
Yeah.
coming later. They didn't.
One
they
more
didn't
coming.
know
No, I
the name.
think he said Mac Pro. Like he literally said Mac.
Really?
I'm
I
pretty
didn't hear
sure
Mac
he
Pro.
did.
I said
No,
it was
no.
one more-
He didn't say Mac. He didn't say
Said
Mac
one
Pro.
more
He didn't say-
Mac to
I rewatched
go.
it. He didn't say Mac Pro. He didn't say
one
Mac.
more
said
Mac
one more.
to go, but that's for
Nah, it's gonna be the Mac.
I mean,
Pro.
like one of the
This
people in the
guy.
Discord server, one of the creators who were like we were live streaming with, we were like, what are they gonna name it? Like M1 God, like, like this.
I
Well,
think
one
about it.
savior. No, the
I think
Messiah.
about it, right? They said
M1 the Messiah.
M1 Maxes, right? They can
Messiah
combine
one.
M1 Maxes. I just expect them to combine two more. I just don't know. It's just like, oh, we've been able to combine with more connections to make this god tier.
Okay, what's another branding that they could bring back that they've used in the past? Like, I mean, Macintosh.
Ultra
Lisa?
Plus.
Nah.
They can't do Macintosh.
M1 Extreme, probably M1
Well, I
Extreme.
mean,
Apple II. No, I mean for we have to come up with the chip name and with the device name.
Oh, you mean like for the actual
they-
Mac Pro
'Cause
thing?
they might. What if they get rid of Mac Pro? I mean, iMac Pro's gone, right?
Yeah, fair. We're not gonna have a 27-inch iMac anymore, are we?
It's either going to
They've
be
completely-
new or something from that they've used before in
Right.
the past that they don't use anymore. So
Right.
resurrecting something, Messiah. Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
well, one thing I did think
II.
about this for a second is that if someone really wanted to just like have a PC, I mean, a computer that's gonna last them for a very long time, like,
Power PC, you'll know.
Or what about
this
Studio
Mac
Pro?
Studio, this Mac Studio is gonna last that person for like 8 to 10 years. Like,
Oh yeah,
problem.
at least.
Oh, for,
At
for
least
sure.
you're, and I say that because people are like, well, what about the heat dissipation, all that? I'm like, this thing is not moving from that spot. It's not like your computer where you might be flexing it, you might be doing other stuff. This is sitting down there with a cooling solution that's probably overkill, honestly, for the little for what it is.
Which I
Um,
prefer.
Yeah, which you would rather prefer, but I'm
And
like,
the
there's
underkill
someone
that
complaining that-
the freaking Intel stuck us all with, because thinner, lighter. It's like you guys were messing with the wrong chip
Look,
manufacturers.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
Johnny Ive left. Honestly, he had some obsession with
But
things.
Intel didn't help.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you were gonna get able to get.
I mean,
away
that's because
with those.
Intel was like always behind with their roadmap. They're like,
But
oh,
I'm
we're
saying the
gonna like,
thermal envelope.
Yeah.
They do not.
oh, yeah,
mix.
definitely, yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah.
Take the M1 and throw it for a perfect example. The iPad Pros and the MacBook Air. Those two machines. Mwah.
I want to see an M1 in the 12-inch MacBook design. I want them to resurrect it.
No, I brought that up to you. You were like,
Right.
I said that would be
No.
the best
It
MacBook
would-
ever. I said it. I was on Twitter. I was on Twitter, right? I was like, why hasn't this come back? Because that should be the MacBook Air. What the MacBook Air is right now, that MacBook 12-inch should be the MacBook Air. Because my friend had one. I was like, dang, I really forgot about these. It is so tiny. It's like scary tiny. And what was limiting it before was the Intel processors that were severely underclocked.
I hate it.
So I was like, man, if they remade that piece, that MacBook and price it like $700, $800, that would be in every student on a college campus immediately. It would even be funny because everybody loved that.
Just the M1.
Yeah, even everybody loved that MacBook, but it was just so severely underpowered and had issues. But now they've gone through it.
Yeah, I just got to shout out Delvon Digital. He said he's willing to sell his fiance for the Mac Studio. It's kind of crazy because I would have never thought he would be like in the market for a device like this. So that really surprised me.
We don't know what we want until they show us what we want. Okay.
I mean,
that's fair.
I really wonder if I was more intensive with video editing and all that, I would immediately cop the Studio over a MacBook laptop.
I mean, at the same time, I think the same thing goes for me because if I didn't need, because I use this laptop like outside of like my house because I use it at work as well. But if I wasn't in that situation, I'd probably buy like the cheapest MacBook Air and get like the M1 Max, MacBook Max Studio for like the same price as like a MacBook Pro. Then I'm set.
So yeah, I'm currently in the market. I'm currently in the market for a new laptop. So,
what are you working with now?
I absolutely need a laptop because.
Yeah, what happened to the MacBook Air that you had?
You sold it?
So no, I did not. I just don't work for that company anymore. So.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know what's crazy? Because I've been using this Microsoft Studio laptop because I went to a MacBook Air. I got used to the whole M1 architecture. I got used to. I'm still not the biggest fan of macOS. Ramal hates that I say that. Whatever. But man, going back to Intel like threw me back to the old ages.
Really.
And I didn't think I was gonna miss the battery life because I didn't think battery life was that bad on like Windows laptops, but like. They can be bad, but
I mean, like speaking of going back to Intel, like I've been using the Surface Pro. This part gets so hot, like it's extremely hot.
But, hey, Ramon,
is that where the battery is?
That's different though. It's not.
No, that's what the chip is.
It's not.
It's not, but like I can, but like whenever I kind of reposition the device, I can feel the heat like a lot. Like it worries me a bit. Like it reminds me of the experience I had with my 2018 15-inch MacBook Pro, the one that was like infamous for throttling. That one, like that thing got.
I mean,
hot.
Yeah,
in defense though, the MacBook Air can get toasty, and I've had it happen before.
Oh no, it can get toasty. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing I love about that Surface Pro series is that the heat's not on your lap; it's literally dissipating to the top half. This Microsoft Studio laptop cools great. The way they do it is god awful. It's the first thing I noticed, right? So they have two intake fans. They have two fans in the thing. It has an RTX 3050 Ti and a Core i7, but it's a laptop CPU. But the cooling intakes air from the back half of the laptop, then spews the air out on the sides by the palm rest.
Oh, what the hell? No.
So it's not like it's not cooling, but because it's putting all this hot air down to the bottom palm rest, your wrists get hot as hell. It's like, and because it's your own blood vessel touching it.
It's for people with iron deficiencies and girls.
So like, I'm doing stuff right, and sometimes it doesn't get hot. But when you're doing anything intensive, you get hot because your blood, your direct, just most sensitive part just touches directly on there.
That sounds horrible.
And I'm like, if it was the other way around, I would never notice it because it would just be like my MacBook Air. But because I'm getting it right on my wrist. It's a weird feeling.
That's uncomfortable, I imagine. I run hot as it is, so me and Intel we had to break up real quick.
I've been using it. I've been using it since I got it from Microsoft because they sent it out to me, right? And I'm like, I love the laptop. I love the way it feels. Trackpad's amazing. The cooling solution pisses me off. It works. It pisses me off.
Yeah, apparently there was like a big jump with the 12th gen Intel.
This is running 11th Gen 2. This is not 12.
Apparently.
Did you ever? Did you guys ever grab stuff? Where it was for me is I would grab things from the freezer that I could balance my laptop on while I was, making a beat or
Wasn't that
whatever,
bad.
mess around with it, right? And then it would melt. I would flip it over, and it would start, and then I would swap it out. And then
Oh my
eventually, I
goodness.
didn't do it for long because eventually I'm like, this is bullshit, fuck this, and then I stopped. But there were some people, even some YouTubers, content creators, that had mentioned that they would like do like the keep, don't go to sleep mode or whatever, and then when they were rendering this thing, put it in the fridge or freezer. Or I think beforehand they'll
the freaking
freeze
lengths people went to
10 minutes
to fix Apple's problems.
Oh man,
absolute hell.
Hey. But I can appreciate every day since I started using this Microsoft Laptop Studio, because I mean, if this had Apple Silicon in it, this laptop would just destroy a MacBook, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Which is the sad truth, because I feel like, man, it's like Qualcomm and Qualcomm, like Intel's just like Qualcomm right now, right? It's like, what's happening? It's like y'all have not been innovating the way you should be, and now the competition's right at your throats. And I was talking to Max about this with Qualcomm stuff. I know this is very diverging from what we're talking about, but the new like all this, the MediaTek and everybody coming out of nowhere, destroying Qualcomm. So I'm just like, man, Intel is really inhibiting these machines, because we can see what Apple can do right now. And after using a MacBook, man, that silicone is no joke at all.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for.
So I guess everyone here likes a Mac Studio, but what about the Studio Display? I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's basically the iMac.
I don't.
It's overpriced. It's the same price as the iMac, but without.
How is it the same price as an iMac?
Because the iMac
it's like the same panel. It's the same panel. It's like the stand. They're charging more for like the ergonomic stand, which is stupid. Like why should I pay more for like the bare necessities to like adjust the height of my monitor? That's stupid.
Tell me how it makes sense that one has an A13 Bionic chip or whatever, and does not have an M1, but they're the same price with the same speaker. Like, what? Because I was at Ramal, I was like, no more. This can't be no more than $1,000. Because if they do that, they're pricing at the same exact price as the iMac, which it technically is.
Dude, I would love for it to have like a really like just be like a base model iMac when it's just like sitting there. But like then when you connect to monitor,
iMac should have looked like. We already know that. Yeah. That's what the iMac should have looked like.
Right.
Like that.
That's what. Wait a damn. Those were the renders for the iMac before the iMac was released.
No.
With the display looking like that.
This is the real deal.
No. Like when the rumors were circulating about the iMac, right, the redesign, like that's what it looks like.
The redesign looked just like this, but with colors.
Yeah,
that's true. It did.
No, the Studio Display is overpriced.
It was like, what is that?
And everyone was like, "Oh damn!"
It's not 120 hertz. It's a 5K.
Look, I get that it's not 120 hertz, because 5K 120 hertz would require double the bandwidth, and I don't think USB-C carries that.
But I'm just saying, though, it's like
neither does the
you're
24.
not really doing much different.
Yeah.
And again, I could buy a different monitor for that.
The iMac Pro was a stopgap, so fun while it lasted. It wasn't never going to stick around. It was never going to be the end all be all. So even still now, it's the larger. I guess in this case, you can flip it as now you get the a larger desktop, right, which would be reminiscent to the iMac, now with like actual Pro stuff, right? So there's the mashup of those two products, getting rid of one product and then bringing in.
What doesn't make sense to me though? What doesn't make sense to me at all is that they put as what is the device name called in general? This display, the Display Studio, is that what it's called?
The Studio Display.
Studio Display. Who the hell is using the speakers on the Studio Display? They're going to be using real speakers.
I mean, yeah, because like I think Apple's marketing this for consumers as much as they are for professionals. Like
no consumer is going to go out and buy a $1,600 display when you can buy an iMac,
which is my next problem.
$1,600.
They should have tried to make the price no more than $1,000 for the monitor. Then like extras, maybe like the stand and the nano texture. Maybe that costs more, but like the monitor should have been $1,000 max. Like I don't think it.
So how much is the stand and everything?
You're bundling these two. Now they showed this.
I think $500.
I think like no, like the stand, like the normal stand is the one that comes with the 24-inch iMac, but you can get a different version, which is kind of like a mix between the Pro Display XDR stand and this one with height adjustment.
I think it's $500 more, on top.
Yeah, it's like it's too much. Like
I just think about it like this, right? Now they say you can use a display with MacBook Pro, all of that stuff, but you announce with the Studio. And you know the studio is not some cheap hardware. It's for professionals, productivity. They have real speakers. Why was that such a big thing for them to? They're like, we have a whole speaker system in the display.
No, they were marketing the display like they were marketing their iMac with like
That's
the
what I'm
speakers
saying,
and
which
the
doesn't make sense to me.
webcam, like because the ad, like the thing they were using was like
Yeah,
you know I
that's
think
like
it was like
one
a
less thing you'll have to buy. Even though that's like a crazy.
You're
amount.
gonna
okay.
have full. You're gonna have
it's weird
monitors on
because,
your
like-
on your.
Okay,
desktop
to be fair, okay. So for $1,600, you get like a really really high quality monitor plus like high quality speakers, and I don't think you're gonna find a webcam as good as this for like under $200. You're not. But at the same time, it costs too much. Like it still costs too much. I can't. Apple should have gone all in and tried to make this monitor $1,000 because this is the first time Apple's making like a consumer grade monitor in like forever.
Wait a minute. How much is the LG Ultrafine display again?
1,300, I think.
1,300.
5K. Yeah, I think I'm pretty
And
sure.
that has speakers and everything built in.
But is that Australian?
But it's not as good. No, it's
Is
the
that
US. It's US. I'm pretty sure.
Is it really 1,300?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was because I saw a video about it today when someone was comparing it. But like the speakers and the webcam were worse, and the design was absolute ass on the LG Ultrafine with like the massive like top bezel, like it was terrible. But like it's essentially the same panel though. It's the same panel.
It's 700.
Oh, is it 700?
Yeah.
Well, which one is this? The 5K 32 inch? Sorry, 27 inch.
Oh, well, that's a 4K one. Let me find the 5K.
Yeah.
You guys looking at refurb?
No, that's the regular one.
So I do want to hit Mark's comment here. He said he thinks that carriers are stopping Apple from making cellular versions for Macs. What do you guys think of that?
How does that work?
That's just my guess. I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
I mean,
It's really interesting that they haven't yet.
Unless it's Apple's just thing, like, oh, they're not for that, you know, like they're.
Hey,
they want people to buy cellular iPads, maybe.
But,
I don't know.
hey, no, think about it for a second, though. Think about it for a second. Apple's integration, you have your iPhone, you have your Mac. As soon as you go to your Wi-Fi settings, it offers the mobile hotspot automatically.
It does, yeah. It
So-
does that.
Wait, I figured it out. Because they don't sell those products yet. That's why. You can't buy a Mac from Sprint or T-Mobile or Verizon or AT&T yet.
I don't think they will. I think the integration with an iPhone and having that ability just to easily connect, it's. I mean, I guess they could technically. So the iPad has the same exact chip, but I feel like I've never been a person that's seen it necessary for a chip like a mobile chip in a desktop, but some people do.
Yeah, personally, like I haven't felt like I've lost anything by not having cellular, especially with the whole like hotspot integration. But I guess it would be better for people who don't have an iPhone. But then again, Apple wants the synchronicity of the ecosystem. So
I think the early days of hotspot also was because of how expensive it was.
Yeah, and they also still limited.
You were better off buying a dedicated cellular plan for your device instead of piggybacking on the same network, you know, on your same account, your primary line for a double or triple or whatever for just those few times that you were going to use it. That was a decision you had to make beforehand, or you know.
Ramal, you're right. It's 1,300, and it has a top bezel for some reason. What the
that
hell?
bezel looks so bad. I don't know.
Also,
why
this is an old display. Like
it technically yes, but the actual panel is like. I mean, actually, no, you're right. That is an old.
It came out in 2017.
2016.
Even worse.
Yeah, the display panel I'm pretty sure is the same though. I think they're using like a very similar version to like in the studio. What is it? What's it called? The studio display. It doesn't. I don't vibe with it. Don't vibe with it.
Because of the price.
Because of the price, I love the. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's the most you would pay for that?
Speaking.
Then? 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. Because we
okay,
all know that Apple has their professional.
They should have kept. They should have. Okay, if they wanted to keep it like kind of the same, like in line with the LG Ultrafine, they could have just. I would have maybe not happy, but I would have been like I would have understood if they priced it at $1,300 to kind of match the outgoing LG Ultrafine, but they didn't. And I know I would have liked it to be $1,300 with that improved stand included in the price, and then the nano texture could be like an extra purchase on top of that. But $1,300 with the better stand would have been something I would be happy for people to recommend that monitor to people at that price. That's my take.
Hey, I mean, Some people are gonna buy it still. I just as Ramal said,
some
I don't really agree with the price because like I guess I know it's a 5K display. The brightness isn't anything out of the ordinary. It's pretty much the norm you would see for that type of display.
I mean, like even for color accuracy and stuff, you can get like an Asus Pro Art Display or like
that's
some
what I
like
was about to say.
BenQ like color accurate display for like the same price, and it's going to be better for that sort of stuff because it's going to have like all the color calibration charts and like all of the like color. It's going to be like made specifically for that. Because with Apple monitors, like even though the Apple is really good with their like general like display quality and color calibration and color accuracy, but in terms of like I feel like sometimes they tend to make it too easy for pros to like they try to make the experience too easy, and I think for professionals that could be like counterintuitive, especially when it comes to like just dialing in the settings you want. Apple tries to take away too much control in that aspect. For the consumer grade stuff I get, but not especially for the prosumer professional grade stuff. Because this studio display, it is not a consumer grade display. It's very much prosumer in my opinion.
It's right before the professional usage, because then you just have the
like it's priced professionally. Like if you do get like the accessories, like it's priced professionally.
I think it's a weird product. I really think it's a weird product. You have the consumer features in it, but then not really the pro grade display. It's kind of like it's right.
They should have kept it at the same price as the LG Ultrafine. That would have been fine.
And just got rid of the speakers, had the camera on there, and it'd be fine.
No, keep the speakers. Just keep everything it has. Just make it the same price.
The price, well, it costs.
I mean, the LG Ultrafine has speakers and a webcam, and it costs $1,300.
Isn't the most pro feature of that screen though the color gamut, that P3 wide color gamut for color accuracy?
I feel like any monitor at
the LG has that as well. I'm pretty sure because
I think it was the Pro Art Display that literally competes against the Pro Display XDR, and that's at that price.
And it's also like, isn't it also 120 hertz as well?
I guess for also maybe to appeal to non-creators, just people who kind of want more or a bigger screen.
But it costs so much. Like, the sort of person who would buy like an.
We don't go to Apple to save money. We know that.
You have them on your head right now.
Yeah.
It's
such a weird position.
Overpriced, but the quality is there. You know,
the quality is definitely there.
Yeah, I think that's Apple's superpower is they know to charge just a little more than what you're willing to pay.
Actually, wait, I'm gonna play devil's advocate to my own argument before. So you know the Apple Cinema display, it was expensive, but those things still work to this day. They still work, and I would imagine this one still works. No, I'm talking about like the 2008.
We just want to let go of the pennies.
Like the really old ones, like. They still work, If this one lasts like 15 years into the future, like this is still gonna look and like still like a monitor, like a good monitor is a good monitor, like it's gonna last.
You're not gonna have to worry about it for a while for sure.
So like if this is like one of those monitors where you buy it and then you just replace the Mac you connect to it and not necessarily the monitor, then I can kind of justify the price. But even then, like just right off the get go, they should have priced it lower, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with that. And then I feel like it's gonna be like those people who just like fanboy over Apple products and are just gonna buy the monitor anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like
because only tech enthusiasts were asking for an Apple branded monitor. Like no one else was asking for that.
Right.
I mean, I'm just looking at this, right? I'm just looking at Pro Art displays from Asus. I mean, this one isn't technically a direct competitor, but it's very close. Just a 27-inch 4K HDR, 100% sRGB, pretty much color accurate. It's their thing. The brightness isn't as bright. It's $500. I'm just like, I see it. I just think, as Ramal said, it should be cheaper. It just doesn't make total sense to me.
Yeah, I could see a use for it, but what's like the refresh rate and everything on it?
60.
It's 60 hertz.
60.
So
okay.
It's kind of.
I would probably say like the Studio display is probably the best display to pair with the Mac Studio, but it's not like it's the best, but it's also not the best. Like it's such a weird dynamic that it has. I mean,
it's like I feel like if you're buying the Studio, you might as well.
Right.
But like if you're buying the Studio, you already probably have the peripherals, which is also
that's fair. That's fair too.
Yeah.
That's fair too.
It's such a strange product. Like the Mac Studio is like I know exactly who that's for, and that's like that is such an easy thing to recommend. Like it is the Mac desktop for anyone who wants something a bit more powerful than the Mac Mini for not I mean, it's more expensive, but like I think it justifies its price well, especially the base model, Mac Studio. But like the Pro, not the Pro Display, the Studio Display.
Right here. Sorry, I found it. The Asus Pro Art Display 4K HDR at 600 lumens,
same brightness,
4K, 32 inches, for $1,099.
Yeah. What's the color reproduction on it? Is it 10-bit?
14-bit.
14. Okay.
No, it's 10-bit. 10-bit. Sorry, it's 10-bit.
10-bit. 14 bits like.
It's 10-bit. It has 100% Adobe RGB, 100% sRGB.
So it's the same as the 10-bit is 1.07 billion colors, which is the same as the Studio Display.
It has speakers as well. Of course, they're definitely not as good as those, but just goes to show. It's just I feel like it could be slightly cheaper.
Yeah, like the Studio Display and the Mac Studio are like polar opposites. Polar opposites in terms of like the ease of recommendation and like the kind of clarity of like where they sit in the lineup.
Yeah,
it's strange.
I think the Mac Studio, great product. I feel like that's the one time that's actually priced fairly well for what it is.
That and the MacBook Air, like one of the best, and the Mac Mini, three of the best priced Macs you can get.
The Mac Mini, I really that is a steal. I was saying on live with Max. Steal. If you can find a Mac Mini used, an M1 Mac Mini used, that will serve you well. That will do everything you need to do. Just put it on a 1080p monitor, you'll be fine.
Actually, Galen, the monitor, not the monitor, the laptop you have right now, it's the Surface Laptop Go, right? Is that yours, like personally?
No, it's not. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, because like for you and your streaming stuff, you could probably do really well with a Mac Mini, like a refurb or something. $600.
But the thing is, I record different from. I record at a different spot from where I work. That's the only reason why I'm not going with a like a base station like that. That's literally the only reason, because I work from like my office right here, and then I record back there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
it's literally the only reason.
I also want to say
OBS to record as well.
If y'all have any Samsung questions, I'm your guy right now. Okay. I'm gonna be in the thick of it with people with Samsung next week. So I actually want to tell you a funny story, because I want to. So today I had device training. I had device training on this S22 Ultra. Right? Makes no sense. And I literally have two S22 Ultras with me right now. Like I kid you not. As you guys saw on Twitter, burgundy and the green. But the phone that I received was still signed in by somebody previously. And it was like a really important person at Samsung, and I'm just sitting here like I could somebody's whole day. I could really do some damage right now if I connect this to the internet. I have access to everything.
Wow.
That's funny.
And I'm sitting through there. I'm like, y'all really training me on this? I think I should be training y'all. Like, honestly.
Maybe they were testing you, man. Careful, man.
I was like, if I was a bad person, I really didn't care.
What do you mean if you are a bad person? What are you talking about? Don't kid yourself.
If he was a bad person that day.
Yeah. So are you learning like a lot about just like Samsung in general, or?
Oh no, I knew everything they talked about.
Okay, just One UI.
It was an hour long. It was supposed to be an hour and a half, and I'm going to South by Southwest next week for Samsung that's sponsoring it, and
do you still know what you're doing there?
I got more of an idea, and it's different than I thought it would be. It's more of me interacting with people at Samsung's like house thing, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, I guess that stuff. And they're giving us a Tab S7 Plus to like help people with stuff. I'm like, am I just working this? I guess.
You're just ground stuff.
When I had Tab S7 Plus, I was also dying a little bit in the presentation because they never updated the slides on when they first released the Tab S7, because it said One UI 3.1, even though it is on One UI 4.0 now. Right. And being my nerd self, I'm like, come on, y'all. Come on.
So are your trainings like teaching you about One UI, or just like?
They were just talking about the general specs and what we should expect, like using stuff, talking about the camera sensors, talking about the 4 nanometer process, which I was laughing about because they're like, we developed a 4 nanometer. I'm like, you guys didn't, but okay. I'm like, y'all just use the Qualcomm and then not bend it, but underclocked it. But okay. There was a lot of funny stuff they were saying, and I'm just sitting in the back knowing everything, if not more than what they're talking about. And I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah, you're gonna have fun, Miles. You'll have fun.
It should be good. It should be good. I don't know everything yet, Ramal, but as I get closer and closer, because I literally fly out next Tuesday on that, so it's gonna be interesting. I'll be able to talk to Samsung people like directly, like the people that do retail and all that for Samsung.
Yeah, make sure you throw my name in there. I'm just kidding.
I'll try. I can't keep this. I don't get to keep this. Like,
even though it's the superior color of this 22, just look.
No, burgundy's still better. I have both in my hand.
You're mad. You're mad. Not invalid. Go away. Get out.
You guys are sleeping on the white.
The white is nice. You know, the blue, the sky blue with the black bezel, the black border. I like it. Sorry, I like it.
I mean, I would have ordered it if it wasn't for the
graphite
shipping
or the
time.
graphite.
Yeah.
The graphite looks nice too.
Wait, so is anyone actually buying anything from this Apple event? Or
no?
Oh, that looks good.
Not at all. No.
Not anytime soon.
I hope she's not. I would definitely get the iPad Air, like for my girlfriend. I hope she's not watching. But I would definitely do that. Yeah, that's something I would do. The iPad Air.
Like as a gift, or
just as a gift, because she's like very, she's very like she's very notey. She's like always like.
Oh, she's behind you.
On paper.
No.
It's the fact you can see it on the screen.
You did. You got him.
I should have looked there first.
Didn't expect that to.
That's how you know he's on edge.
You definitely got me on that one.
You did it. Whoa.
All right. So what?
Like my heart stopped. I'm like, she's never.
So, Galen, the current iPad Air. How does that compare to the previous? Just looking at the iPad Air.
Just M1 really. As an iPad Air, it's the same price and an M1 in there.
The upgrade of what it was before. Because that wasn't too long ago. That was what 20.
That was 2 years ago, I think. Now
2020.
I think it's a substantial upgrade just because of the M1. Honestly.
Yeah.
Nothing else about it.
And then the same price.
I like the blue. Not gonna lie, the blue's like.
I wouldn't buy the 5G version. I don't think we have a use for the 5G version. Like me or her, we don't have a use for the 5G version.
Center stage.
Center stage is cool.
Center stage on Samsung's phones make no sense.
Oh, it's so bad.
It makes no sense because the camera's not wide enough for it. I haven't tried on the ultra wide though. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet. I have to.
Also, what I did learn, I forgot about this, is a Super HDR Samsung was talking about that I didn't realize the stipulation that it can only be at full HD, 30 frames per second on the main camera. And then I was like, let me test this out because they're like everything HDR. And then I tested, I'm like, it's the same. The iPhone does the same thing. Okay. There's like no big difference here. But man, the center stage on S22 Ultra, it just seems very useless for what it is because the front-facing camera is not wide enough to really use it.
That's why you get the selfie stick that comes with it.
They didn't even give me a case to have with this phone. I'm like, y'all trust me without a case? I might break it.
So are any of you guys interested in any of the products that?
Yeah, probably the iPad Air, just to try it out.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I
Not
did
me.
say that earlier. Okay, no. What about you, Mark?
I mean, like the thing is, because we talked about the whole pricing fiasco on it. Like 64 gigs for me is personally fine. Like that's all I need. But like if you need more than 64 gigs, you're paying a massive premium for 256. In which case, it's $50 more to get the objectively better iPad Pro. But then if you scale back the price, you can get a refurb 2018 or 2020, which is like the same in terms of the software experience. So like, what? It's like so convoluted.
I mean, all the iPad Air was like the update we saw with the iPad, the regular iPad, a processor bump, and then the center stage front-facing camera.
Which is honestly great. Like it's a solid upgrade for like what it is. Like there's nothing much else to upgrade.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would go for personally.
As far as all-in-ones, I mean, like I said, the like a mobile all-in-one, for example, the laptop, which is what I did pull the trigger on, something like that. If we're not going to get, if this is basically it, if the 24-inch iMac is going to be just a low-end, starting entry-level, consumer-oriented all-in-one desktop products, I don't think that it'll do it for me as far as like what I already was trying to say. Like, okay, I could kind of move some stuff around and maybe get into a little more debt to bring in and make my life, make my life accommodate.
Wait, so what's your reservation about just getting like a external monitor in the Mac Studio?
Well, I would
as opposed to the all-in-one.
To save some cash, at least up front, or at least get more value out of my. I have a 55-inch Vizio 4K downstairs, and I got a 75 right behind the. I don't know if you can see it over here. So I'll be able to use
a bigger
that.
TV in his room.
So I'll be able to use that as, and it would be really neat. I know, like, other than it just being real neat and like for being a fan of it, and like it's a gorgeous piece of tech, and kind of like usable art also with that. I for sure don't have a use for it. So it would be something hard to justify as far as like being a fan of the space and specifically of Apple, and I mean they're right down the street from me, like Cupertino's just a brisk drive from where I am, so it's really neat.
Oh, nice.
Have
you been onto the Apple campus?
Outside, no, not the new one, not since they built it. Yeah, but you can drive by and see it on the freeway all the time. Yeah, get a glimpse of it.
Hey, I'm ready to see. I'm ready to see what competitors do to try to compete with all these products, because
there's literally nothing you can.
Because right now, at that size for the Mac Studio, there's nothing there. Intel and Nook PCs are definitely not competing at that at the price and the performance. No. Tablet space, Samsung just got kicked in the shin, and Apple said, "Oh, we're just gonna really destroy any type of hope that somebody wanted to like compete against it, because the performance on the A13 that was in the previous iPad Air was already amazing, but now you just went and said, I don't care anymore.
To the air. Let's get it.
Move to the air."
So today all of my entertainment has been reading the comments of the video I made about the Mac Studio on my TikTok. There's 1,500 comments, and like some of them are so funny, like because it's obviously just a bunch of Fortnite kids who don't understand like productivity machines. But like people are like, oh, but like it's like the same as an Intel Nook.
I read that and I was like, it's really not.
No. Yeah, then it's like people like, oh, but what's the point of having 3090 performance if you can't game on it? Like,
some people in my comments are like, are you dumb? This is not a gaming PC. This is productivity. Like people were literally correcting the people. Like I'm not even.
Oh yeah, no, I love that. Yeah.
They're literally correcting them with whole paragraphs.
People telling me in my comments, but you can build a PC for $800. That's like better. Like, bitch, no, you can't. Like, you can't. Like, just stop tripping. Yeah, show me. Yeah, like
and all this
can't run Fortnite. Like, yeah.
Because I know we're all trying to wrap this up. Was that this Mac Studio reminded me of the Intel PCs that were built just like that, the little cubes that are modular. When they said modular, I don't know why they said that and didn't bring it up any other time after they said that. Modular. Oh,
we know this is what you're asking for, but here's what you're getting.
But
why did they have to like bait us with that modular? Like they didn't have to do that.
Shut us up, I think is what they're saying. Stop asking for modular. This is it.
Yeah.
I was thinking as soon as they said modular, I was really hoping what it would be like is like this Acer and had these like little stackable components that you would have the base station pretty much. Then you would stack like an extra hard drive or something like that, or some other pad or speakers and things like that. I was like, that could have been so cool to have from Apple, and they would have made money from that too. They're like, oh,
they're making money like this.
They're making money like this. But I'm saying, like, man, imagine if they just sold these little expansion pods. They could like stack up to 3. That would have been. Like,
I hope the Mac Pro is going to be that, because like I don't want Apple to completely just like ditch the whole expandability of the Mac Pro, because right now professionals love that about it. Like if they do make their own expansion modules, it's going to be expensive as hell. But I think for the professionals who want the expansive,
I was really hoping for that, because that would have given me a reason to want to get that instead. Like I would have actually considered if they would have had that, because I'm like, that means the modulars they're going to build later on are going to be compatible with this, because Apple's not a company that gets rid of something after a year. They're usually dead set on it.
That's the double-edged sword of stubborn. So the bright side. When they make
AirPower,
we got it for at least 5 years.
So AirPower was never released from all. It was never released. So, but we look at MagSafe. They haven't gotten rid of it yet to see it with iPhones. Nice. We look at MacBook Air Pros. They've kept that design for a while.
LiDAR still.
LiDAR, they kept it, even though they could have got rid of it, because honestly, no one's really using it.
I mean, no, LiDAR does make a difference in low light. It literally does.
And for photos, that too.
And for photos,
really, if I took an iPhone,
it does.
Pro, is it?
Dude, it really does. It really does. So, like, I was comparing this to my friend with the iPhone 12 without LiDAR. Like, it takes so long to focus.
I'm talking about the 13. I'm not talking about the 12.
Oh wait, I'm going like
what? I'm going like LiDAR versus non-LiDAR. Like
I know. I'm saying, is there a really big difference between the 13 and 13 Pro?
Oh,
Pro
Has
did not.
anybody-
I mean, actually, no, maybe.
I haven't tried those
Maybe.
yet.
Because I've not heard anything regarding a real big difference with that. But
That's because,
maybe-
I mean, most people don't test it out side by side, but when you do, there's like a very significant difference. Because like usually, like, I'm not the sort of person who, like, people might hate me for this, but you know, when you're taking a picture, I don't do like the whole like tap to focus thing. I don't do that. I just like let the phone focus.
Yeah.
Because like I honestly I can't reach the tap if I'm doing it with one hand anyway. So
Yeah.
So
Hey, well, I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah,
I
point and
can do
shoot.
it. I can do it.
I mean, like I can, but like I'd rather not. Like I'm
Yeah.
the sort of person who like rests their phone on their pinky, and my pinky's gonna be
Yeah, I do
all
that
messed up in a few years. But like you know,
Get the divot on.
I hold my phone like a clown. Honestly, people are like, why are your hands so small? If I could hold my phone properly, but I choose to hold it like this because I'm an idiot. Like
Why do you do that? That's so weird.
I don't know.
Because
No,
the phone's too damn huge.
I hold it like mine,
It is,
like
it's massive.
this.
Dude, it's uncomfortable to hold. Honestly, after using the S22 Ultra, like this is so much
22
more
Ultra is the most
comfortable.
comfortable phone I've ever used.
It
Sorry.
feels also
So
like you
comfortable.
got less of a grip if you hold it regular way
Yeah,
because of the weight of it. I mean, even
Yeah.
I'm guessing the 13 is even heavier. This is the Pro, so 12. Sorry,
yeah.
12 Pro Max. So it's lighter and thinner.
Yeah.
Sorry about the back to the Mac Studio thing. I find it super
Yeah.
funny. This one person's literally like explaining to this person exactly what the Mac Studio is, and they're going at it. They're going at this person in the comments.
I love it when the commenters like do our work for us. 'Cause it increases engagement and it also just makes it like grab some popcorn, just enjoy the show. You know.
100%. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this stream. Had a lot of fun with you guys talking Apple. Got a little bit of Android in there just from art, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys for joining
Terrible.
as always. I appreciate the few that are still in the stream. Definitely appreciate you guys. Try to be here around the same time next week. Hopefully you have some more tech news by then. So again, thanks for watching everyone, and see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Sweet.
Later.
Thanks, guys.